Welcome back, everybody, to Between Two Spines. I'm Dr. Greg Persley, Dr. G. This is Dr. Aaron Andrews, Dr. A. And today we are with Randy Morris. He is the Interim Chief, the one, the only. Chief of the Fire Department here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And so we are lucky enough to have a conversation. We got some talking points we're going to talk about, but it was cool coming in because, you know, we wanted to, as kids, like we are, play with the fire pole and the
everything.
Yeah,
I was out back watching. They were. So what were you guys doing with the truck? Were you just testing the hydraulics, or
doing
some maintenance or something?
They were probably actually training with one of our probationary firefighters that are new to the department here this past week. So.
That's cool. So people can come just hang out and check stuff out, can't they? I mean, come say hi or get a tour, or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. And with everything, COVID's kind of hampered the things that we've been doing. So, but we encourage everyone to stop by and say hi. We like being community interactive with everyone. Station tours, we've kind of put that on hold for the moment. Inviting everyone in. Hopefully, when it starts letting up, we'll be able to do smaller groups that can get back to normal as everybody's hoping for.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah, and all your guys out here were super friendly, waving. So, how many do you have working at this station?
At this station, we have 7 people working today. That's 3 on the engine company, 4 on the ladder company. Well, no, actually, our battalion chief's he's working here. And we have day staff working here this week, so we have our fire inspector, myself, our training officer, 2 secretaries that work for us. So yeah, we got kind of a full house.
You know, people take it for granted a little bit, I think, sometimes, but how many calls do you, if you might know this, but how many calls do you guys actually go out on every year?
Last year, I believe we topped over 5,200 calls.
I mean, think about that. That's 100 calls a week.
Is that just this station or all stations?
That's all stations. That's citywide.
That's nuts.
That's crazy.
How many stations are there?
There's 4 fire stations. We just opened our fire station 4 on Lexington a couple of years ago. So it's our newest one. This is actually our oldest house.
But this is number 1.
Oldest house. The only one, he told me off camera, the only one still with Florida.
That is
I think I would fight them if I was a fireman. Yeah. I don't want a one-story firehouse. I want to go. I want to slide down the pole. So speaking of that, kids like this, what made you want to be a fireman?
Well, actually, I'm a second-generation Cape Girardeau firefighter. Wow. So my dad worked here for 25 years and retired. So
was he ever chief?
No, he wasn't.
Oh,
no.
Buddy!
Right before he retired, I got promoted to captain and was trying to be his boss, but he had a few choice words for him. Trying to tell him what to do. He didn't take too kindly to that.
I'm sure you guys always have choice words for each other. I've heard all kinds of stories and pranks and things going on.
See, growing up, I grew up in Longdale, Missouri. Most of my cousins were in the fire department in some shape or form, so I got to hang out and watch a lot.
That's because there was only like 15 people in the city.
It's not even a city. I mean, it's more cows than people type stuff. Yeah. So we didn't have all the cool equipment, you know. Some of ours were like, get the DeWalt drill, you know. It wasn't like
you still had the donkey and the wagon and everything, probably.
We had buckets.
That's cool.
That's why you had so many.
Bucket brigade, yeah.
That's why you had so many ponds, and so you can just get in line with bucket brigade. I like that.
So we got. Let's talk a little safety. We got Christmas coming up. So what are some quick tips on lights and safety and everything? Because I'm sure you guys, is that the busiest time for calls around that time, or 4th of July? Or?
Actually, summer's our busiest time, but
lawnmowers, people doing dumb stuff with lawnmowers and catching on fire in their garage. Do not pour gas in a lawnmower while it's running in a garage. Just saying.
Or the turkey fryers, probably.
Turkey fryers.
So turkey fryers, that comes to mind. Also flue fires, so it's very important to make sure that your chimneys are cleaned out. Every year we have a few flue fires, and if you don't do proper maintenance on your chimney and there is a fire inside the flue where the smoke vents out, sometimes if it's attached to the house, it can actually get into the attic space and then cause your house to catch on fire. So that's one of the call a technician to come out and check that out, and they'll be able to inspect the liner of the flue and If there's any debris in it, clean it out, and that, then you'll be ready to burn your wood and ready to go for the winter season. So,
Yeah, that's cool. What about electrical fires from people plugging in heaters? Is that a common thing during the?
Yes. Always remember to keep 3 feet away from any kind of heater that you have plugged into the wall. Also, don't overload your electrical circuits. So, some people, especially when we get into Christmas lighting, they'll plug in anything and everything. Christmas trees. Yeah, Clark Griswold, yeah, for sure. And you don't want that because that can overload your circuit and then actually cause an actual receptacle to burn. And then that can burn inside a wall and catch your house on fire. So just remember manufacturer recommendations on it. Don't overload an outlet. Don't plug, 4 or 5 strips into one another in hopes to get a spectacular light display like in Christmas Vacation. So
yeah, you overload it, you're going to get a spectacular one from the fire.
that's
Yeah,
right.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing we talked about, pulse point. Tell us a little bit about that.
So back in March, we got a new computer-aided dispatch system here at the city, which allowed us a lot more technology to be implemented into the fire department. So we launched in partnership with the St. Francis Foundation an app called Pulse Point. What Pulse Point does is when a call comes into 911, there is a cardiac arrest, which means their heart is stopped and they need CPR. It's sent as soon as the dispatcher clicks on it, the alert will go out to the app, and anyone that's within a quarter mile that has that app and is CPR trained, they can get
That's
there
awesome.
and start doing CPR.
I saw you guys training at the farmers market for that.
Yes,
That was
absolutely.
neat.
We've done a lot of community outreach with that, and the farmers markets. We've hosted several CPR classes in our fire department to train the community in hopes that people will know what's out.
Any instances where it's worked well?
Yes, actually, we've had one of our police officers. She was out and about and got an alert through her app that was over here in town, and was able to get there probably under a minute. So it takes us normally about 3 minutes to get on scene, and she was able to get in there and start CPR, and then had a good outcome. So the person survived and was able to walk
That's
away.
amazing. So it only takes you guys 3 minutes to be on scene. I mean, that.
Wow.
Just think about that.
Yeah, typical response.
Crazy. But that's a cool app. Yeah, 1 minute. That's
Yeah,
That's pretty neat.
it was great. It pays for itself. When you look at it in the big scheme of things,
Yeah.
save somebody's life.
You guys had EMS and first responders here? Or-
Yes.
Yeah, also.
Every member of the fire department is at least trained at the EMT basic level, and then myself and several others are paramedics.
So you guys all go out in one spot.
Yes,
Yeah.
wherever the district it's in, it's where each fire truck shows up.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. What's one of the most memorable things over this last 16 years you've been on the fire department work?
That's one of these. That's one of the kid questions. Good job, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
thank you.
That's put me in a tough spot. I think, just being able to make an impact in someone's life. We unfortunately see death in our job, not so good things, someone's house fires. But I think the one that kind of sticks out for me is we were at an apartment fire, and we really just assisted a person out the window. It wasn't like one of the dramatic risks you see on Chicago Fire or anything, but the next day we were working, the lady called back and was in tears, just thanking us for helping because she couldn't get out of her apartment because the flames were coming out from the lower apartment.
Wow.
So stuff like that makes the job seem worthwhile.
That's really cool. Yeah.
So speaking of Chicago Fire and Station 19 and all those, how realistic are those shows compared to?
They're
You
a
guys
little
get a kick
they're a
out
little
of watching
dramatic.
it?
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you put that on at a firehouse, we end up yelling at the TV, just like, you're doing it wrong. That's not the way to do it.
Yeah, you guys need to do like a YouTube channel that you guys firefighters watching a show about firefighting and yelling about
Yeah.
that's not right,
Oh yeah.
and critiquing it. That'd be hilarious.
A lot of critiquing.
Here you go, YouTube channel for you.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine is a firefighter in St. Louis, and I guess he was a rookie. I don't know if there's hazing and pranks and stuff, but I guess so. Your guys, I don't know what they're called. Your pants are attached to your boots, or they're all wadded up.
Right.
And just get them on. Well, they had put these big granny panties on his pants, and he didn't see. He just yanked them up and went, and then he was on the side of the road, and that's when he finally noticed he was out there with big pink panties
Oh
on.
my gosh.
Had some response on the road. Yeah, it was funny telling that story.
You're giving those guys out here lots of ideas.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
that was a good one. I'm sure there's a lot more inappropriate ones, which we can't talk about.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Greg, you stole a question here. So we have some questions from some of our kids and patients for you.
All right.
Do you have a cook here, or does everyone take turns?
Most of the time, everyone takes turns cooking, unless they're not a good cook. Then they're kind of like voted off the island. Like, we just don't want to eat with
So-
cook.
Basically, if you don't want to cook, you just cook a bad meal.
Just burn it all.
Burn
burn it all.
Yeah, there's some
Sorry.
pizza, guys.
I think some people have taken advantage of that. Then we have the guys who can cook, but they just don't want to cook. So when it's their turn to cook, they order pizza.
Right.
There you
So
So what's the favorite firehouse meal?
definitely breakfast.
Breakfast?
You come out here on the weekends, most of the fire stations, they're cooking a big breakfast with eggs, bacon.
So if we just come out and do a bunch of adjustments, we can
Absolutely.
hop in on that.
We gotta
Absolutely.
We'll
Yeah.
cook too.
Oh, I don't want to cook. I mean,
I'll cook. Yeah.
Okay, you cook.
Because
I'll eat.
if I wasn't doing this chiropractic stuff, which he and I have talked about, I'd be a chef. So
I'll play music.
yeah.
We'll
Cook
adjust
and music
people.
and
You play.
adjust.
You cook. I'll play music.
That sounds like a
and
great time.
Yeah, that sounds like.
Well, one of the guys, when we were walking in, saw the spines and asked us if we were doing free adjustments. I said, maybe one of these days.
Yeah.
So we'll set it up.
It's good
Breakfast,
to see,
music,
it's
and
good to
adjustments.
sponsor that,
Yeah.
isn't it? There's a policy manual right there. Let's just grab the policy manual and put it in there.
That's all. So what are the shift times here? Like,
We work 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock the next morning, so we're
24 hours.
On a day, off a day. That day in between usually gives folks time to recoup. This station down here specifically, since we run most of their calls at nighttime. So it's just,
You guys sleep at all? Do you get any rest, or mainly just?
yeah, we sleep some,
Yeah.
and it comes and goes. Some, like I mentioned, the summertime is very busy down here at this station. Wintertime it gets a little slower, but
Are you guys on 24-hour shifts or 12?
24 hours.
24.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Next one.
So the movie Backdraft, which I like that movie. That's a good movie.
I love it.
That's a good movie. Is that a real thing?
Yes.
Backdraft?
Yes. So,
I'm not even ask you that question. I guarantee
Ah.
you've not seen it.
I've seen it. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen Backdraft.
When I was like 12 or whatever.
Yeah. It is good.
yeah,
That's one of the movies I'll watch every time.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a real thing.
Yeah.
So, going, not to get into science too much, but it is part of what we call fire science. That buildings can get into a situation where they kind of have an explosion because of lack of oxygen. So a fire will burn down and have oxygen. Once oxygen is introduced, it can be this kind of explosive. So, yeah, it's a real thing. Not as dramatic as the movie,
No, of
but
course.
Yeah. There's a couple other questions on Backdraft I like that. But again, this one, you know what? This is actually a question I didn't know. My daughter said, is there any water on the rigs or stored there, ready to go? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, all of our frontline apparatus at all the fire stations have 750 gallons of water. So that buys us time to go in.
Put on some initial stuff.
For the guy at the outside to hook up to the fire hydrant, and then we still have that on board water that we can use to put out the fire.
Cool. You guys still go on cat rescues in the trees?
We've, I think the last one I recall was someone had gotten their drone stuck up in a tree.
And called you guys?
And called us and we said no, but then it was found out that the little boy had climbed up in the tree, we're like, oh, okay, well, we need to go get him.
My son is stuck in the tree trying to get his cat.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come out. Yeah.
A couple more here. What do any of your unit or anyone in Cape get called out to California or Colorado or any of those fires?
No. We have actually one of our retired firefighters, one of our fire captains, he when he retired signed up with a private contracting company and actually visited with him. He was out in California and some of the fires out there, and he said it was just a whole different world from what we're used to. Cape Girardeau.
Well, there was that one movie that was out about the team of 15 or so that died, but they were out here in the desert.
Hot shots.
Yeah, the hot shot guy.
Yeah,
Those are the ones that go in there and it's in the middle of it.
Yeah.
He mentioned it was very, very labor intensive and long days, hard work, just really having to watch what's above your head. He said that it wasn't anything for the treetop to fall several, 10, 20 feet from you. It just will scare you to death.
Wow.
So, it's something we don't think about.
Mhm.
Trees burn always.
Yeah. I got a question. Have you ever had to bust out a window of a car to get to the fire hydrant? I hope so too.
Please say
No, unfortunately not. I've busted out some windows before, but not for that reason.
Not for that reason. Would you? Is that something you guys would do, or is that kind of an old legend? I mean, because you could go right over the top.
I wouldn't say never ever, because it's important for us, especially to when we need water to get water. But hopefully we'll be able to find a hydrant that's maybe down the street before we.
I think I would want it. I'd be excited pulling up to and be like,
yes.
Finally. I know it's every firefighter's dream to do that.
That's not where we're going. Oh.
and then a businessman walks out. Hey, I'm sorry, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see you just running up the street and breaking windows. He's crazy.
That would be fun.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah, you already answered the other two. What got you into firefighting and the craziest call you've been on? Well, you really didn't answer. You answered kind of best feelings. What's the craziest one?
Craziest one.
Like didn't involve anything.
Oh, wow.
Story time.
Any bad memories? Just
Story time.
Yeah. Like a story you guys always talk about.
Well, I had to get this drone out of a tree with this kid in it.
Well, I've seen folks driving the wrong way on the highway before.
I saw that
pretty
once.
crazy.
That was interesting. Driving into work and you see headlights coming at you and you're like, I'm on the highway. That shouldn't be. Get over on the right and then they just.
Yeah, that's pretty. Actually, that instance they had caused an accident. So luckily everybody was able to walk away from it. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's something that we'll never see.
I saw the boats. You guys do any river rescues? Have you had to do any of those?
Yes, we have gotten folks that could be stranded out on the river in their boat. So all the barge traffic we have, even someone who runs out of fuel or the battery dies, that can be a real hazard to them with the barge traffic. Because if a barge hits the boat, it's a bad day. So we'll go out there and at least get them off the river and then work to try and get the vessel ashore and use that. Just getting out there to help people when we can on that.
So when the bell goes off, do you guys actually have an idea what the call is? Or is it
Yes.
just bell goes off and you're like, okay, we'll get it when we get in the, or how's that?
Both actually. We have an iPad in the truck that will display all the information and where we're going. There's this fire hydrant.
So is there ever a time where a call comes in and you're like, oh, cool.
Oh yeah, every if you have the word fire behind it, yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
okay,
Unless
yeah.
it's like trash fire or something.
Yeah.
That's not. Yeah, we tend to really step our game up when we know that somebody's house is on fire and people accountable for it. Sometimes that comes in, heightens our game. Very quickly.
Awesome. Cool. Well, anything else you'd like to add, or?
Just coming up to again, coming up to winter, I think it's really important to check your. We just passed daylight savings time to check your smoke alarms, make sure those are in
Good idea.
good working order, and with the furnaces and everything kicking on, and get a carbon monoxide alarm. Make sure you have all that ready to go for the winter season.
Awesome. Cool. Well, there you go. Well, this has been it's been fun having you guys.